So there are essentially two parts to the modules, which one of which is the user space libraries. So these are the sort of the applications and the components which people interact with on a daily basis. And then there is the kernel, the Linux kernel itself, which is at the sort of the heart of the system, operating in privilege mode, which people don't interact with directly, but kind of keeps the whole system ticking along. Now the kernel is also very important here because it provides the source of random data, the entropy, which in FIPS 140-3 is taken even more seriously than it has been previously, and the entropy source has to be validated by the certification process as well. And it means that the user space modules are validated as long as they use the entropy source that the kernel provides. And this is actually quite important in the context of containers, which I'll cover in a later slide. But the way that we do this on Ubuntu is that we take the libraries, which I've listed on the screen here, which are the normal versions which come with that release of Ubuntu, and we modify them to work in FIPS mode. And the idea being, once you deploy the FIPS modules via the Pro token, the Pro client, the system should keep operating just the way it used to, but it just means that those libraries only work in FIPS compliant mode. And the idea being that this is a nice seamless transition, that we don't need to then make all the thousands of other applications on the system to be aware of FIPS. As long as they use these libraries, then they will just automatically operate in FIPS mode. Anyway, that's the plan. I thought I'd just mention the OpenSSH client and server as well, because we sometimes have questions about this. Obviously, SSH, it's a crypto-heavy package. The reason we don't certify it these days is that we take advantage of the crypto that's available within OpenSSL, which is a crypto library, and it means that we can just limit the number of modules which we actually have to go through the certification process. So that speeds it up and just makes it easier to deploy. And we obviously offer Ubuntu on a range of hardware platforms, different architectures, different systems. For our FIPS modules, these have to be tested on individual platforms. That's part of the certification process. And certainly the tests that ATSEC run and that NIST validate the certificates for are linked to individual hardware platforms. Obviously, x86 or x86-64, Intel and AMD is still ubiquitous. These days, we are seeing interesting uptake in ARM platforms. I know that if you've got a Mac M1, M2 chip, or M3 or 4, whatever, then those are ARM devices. Although Mac doesn't run Ubuntu, but there are servers available on the cloud hyperscalers that give you access to ARM chips, and we've tried to enable this with our FIPS mode as well. So we now have access to ARM hardware for the first time for FIPS, and we also offer it on the IBM Z15 mainframe systems.